Hi, this is Keiko Sue, Life After Divorce mentor, founder of Wings for Women, and host of the Wings for Women radio show. And welcome to the video series on tips for thriving after divorce. These are answers to frequently asked questions about life after divorce. And this particular video is the last of the series and is called How to Create a Joyful and Fulfilling Life. So for most of us who've been through divorce, we know that it was a very painful experience. In fact, it was probably the most costly, the most complicated, and the most emotionally traumatic event of your whole life. And it's also an opportunity to really look at your life in a whole different way. It's an opportunity to create a much better life for yourself and to look at it as an opportunity to transform your life and it's like a wake-up call. It's like a wake-up call that says, look at what you're doing with your life. So you have the opportunity to create a much better life for yourself. Just like my life is now, is much better than it was when before I got my divorce after being married for 26 years. My marriage fell apart a couple years ago, and now I love my life and I'm so much happier than I ever was. And you can be that way too. So an important thing about transforming yourself through this whole experience is to really shift your paradigm. And I know that this is not natural for most women, but to really, really focus on you. It's kind of like when you hear on an airplane, to put your oxygen mask on yourself first so that you can help other people. The same is true for yourself as you come out of divorce. Focus on you first. If you can have a happier, more fulfilling life, then the other people who are in your family can also look at you as a role model and become much happier too. And you'll be so much better prepared to be able to help them get that way. So focus on you, and part of that involves pampering yourself because you so deserve it, and really look at the value of your life because your life is worth a lot. And you are so important to this world. And you have so much that you can contribute to this world. So pamper yourself and give your spirit the pampering that it needs. And heal those past wounds and really be able to move on in a much happier, more joyful way and learn the lessons from your divorce experience. Take the time to do a lot of self-reflection and do the inner work that's necessary to really be able to make sure that you don't relive some of your past relationship patterns again. Really recognize what those relationship patterns are and make a resolve to yourself not to repeat those past patterns again. And part of that involves really discovering who you are and who you have the potential to be. And after a divorce is the best opportunity to really do that self-discovery process. So take the time to do that. And one of the things that helped me as I was coming out of my divorce was to ask yourself 3 key questions. This is what I did for myself. The question is, if you had no constraints or limitations whatsoever, where would you live? What kind of work would you do? Or what would you do to spend your time? And what kind of people do you want in your life? So those are 3 key questions that really can help you to get clear about what you want and to really put things in perspective for you. Now for me, the way I answered those 3 questions was when I asked myself if I could live anywhere in the world, where would I want to live? I kind of had this vision of a beautiful place with a view of the water, the mountains, and the city lights. And I knew that there was really no place on the East Coast that had that combination of all 3, and at the time I was living on the East Coast. So I realized that my dream city of San Francisco had all 3 things that I wanted. And so I really set the goal of moving to San Francisco, which I did just a couple of years ago. And I love it here. It's really my dream city, and I've just absolutely blossomed and flourished since I moved to my dream city. So you can do the same thing yourself if you ask yourself, if you had no constraints, where would you live? Where would you want to live? The second part of that question was, what would you want to do? And so in my case, after working in corporate America for 30 years or so, I decided I didn't want to go back there. I just didn't want to be in that environment anymore. And instead, I wanted to be able to give back and help other women. And so I chose to become a life coach. I got the training and certification to become a life coach and a life after divorce mentor so that I could help other women who are going through this huge transition in their lives. And then the third question is, what kind of people would you want in your life? Well, in my case, I knew that I wanted to have a very special partner, a very special soulmate in my life. And so once I got clear on what kind of person I wanted in my life, I found him. I found my perfect soulmate within 5 months after I started my search. And now we're engaged to be married, and I'm just so happy now. And we're just a wonderful partnership. So you can do that too. You can really think about your life in many different ways, and those 3 key questions will help you to dream big about what your life could be. Now, one thing to remember is that you don't have to be lucky to have a happy life like I have. You just have to be really clear, and you have to believe in yourself, and you have to stay open to possibilities and really keep thinking very positively and surround yourself with positive people. And you don't have to do it alone. Look at it this way. You have a choice. You can either slog it out on your own, and you might get there eventually someday, or you can reach out and get help from people who have been, through this journey already. People like myself who've already walked in your shoes, who've already gotten to the happier place, who have, like I have, a 5-step process to be able to get you there much faster. So you can reach out for help. And one thing I invite you to check out is our Kickstart course, our Kickstart class, which is called Love Your Life After Divorce, 5 Steps to Attract What You Want and Live a Joyful Life. And if you go to www.wingsforwomen.net and click on Love Your Life, you'll see what I'm talking about. It will take you through a 5-step process called WINGS, which stands for Wholeness, Inner Self, Navigating Your Internal Barriers, Generate Your Personal Roadmap, and Stay on Track. WINGS, WINGS. It'll help you to find your wings and to be able to soar so that you can live a joyful life after divorce. So you don't have to do it alone. You can ask for help, and this is your chance to do that. So this is Keiko Sue, your Life After Divorce mentor, supporting you on your journey. So you can do this too. You can have a fulfilling and joyful life too. Have a great week.